You mentioned earlier cinema. You were a cinema buff. I'm a little bit of a cinema buff as well. At one point, I was filming in my major was film, so I got a lot of studies done in film. So I also, when I watch movies, when I watch these films, I look at the cinematography. I listen for the sound cues, for the sound scores and all that. So technically, I enjoy watching films from that standpoint, as well as just sitting back and just potato chipping out and just zoning out on a silly story or whatever.
I've still maintained that habit of just watching it and then analyzing later.
Right, especially with the good movies, really good movies.
You get
Mad
immersed.
Max, for example, that's one of the modern classics, I think. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to with this is we're seeing a golden age right now in comic book movies or comic books being brought to life through film. And I think it's almost a travesty that we haven't been able to see these really high quality AAA Hollywood films, maybe based on something that's manga or based on anime, which I think would probably be able to translate better than even comics, because comics are just still images, and some of them, the storylines may be not so congruent with reality. Whereas I've always seen anime as, as having that fantasy aspect, however, still being kind of grounded. What do you think has to be done, or do you think it ever even will be done?
I think there's
Hollywood?
potential. I mean, there have definitely been things that have been done that were influenced by manga and anime. Think of the original RoboCop. That was heavily influenced by Ape Man. And the directors talked about how he watched the cartoon as a kid. And that was on American TV also. He saw it in Europe. So there's potential there. And of course, Pacific Rim was heavily influenced by kaiju films.
Right.
And was very much an homage to kaiju films.
Definitely. I'm hoping you get something direct,
Yeah, something direct. It's got to be done well is the thing. And there have been some real failures. The Dragon Ball movie, for example.
Oh, God.
Occasionally, there's been an okay adaptation of fiction. So when, the Tom Cruise movie, I can't remember the English title.
I think they changed the title to Live, Die, Repeat.
It was Live, Die, Repeat was what they thought,
because it was The Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, Day After Tomorrow,
And then they changed it because it was such a failure. They changed it for, the Blu-ray release or something.
Yeah.
Which was
the original
even sillier.
title, I think, was much better.
Right.
All you need is kill. And that novel is a good novel, and the movie's a fairly good adaptation. I mean, I don't like the ending. They changed the ending.
They did.
The ending was much more powerful in the original story.
Okay.
It was like,
So that comes from manga?
Well, actually from a novel.
Or from a novel?
Yeah, but the ending on that novel reaches into your gut and twists it in a way a good ending is. It's got very good, it's got very tragic elements, but it works really well.
Right.
And they kind of went wishy-washy on it.
It seemed to me like they were going one direction, then suddenly it's like, well, let's leave it open to make sequels.
Yeah, make a sequel or something.
Yeah.
But, adaptation is possible. It's like you can take a manga, you can take a movie, you can take an anime, just like you can take an American comic book, and you can do an adaptation. You just need to do it with heart. You need to do it with integrity. One of my favorite examples of a novel being done as a movie is the French movie Diva. Gorgeous movie, very beautiful, very sweet, very touching. Don't even try to read the novel. The novel is garbage. They took an incredible piece of trash and made it a beautiful film. So you could take a good story and make a beautiful film.
Right.
You need to change things, of course, when you're adapting from one media to another.
It's interesting.
But still.
Coming from a film background, I have friends that always say, the book was better, the book was better. And I think to myself, do you really want like an extra hour of just dialogue,
Right.
or of the person's thoughts. Like, do you really think that would make a movie better? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. My thing is the movie good? Is it a good movie?
Right.
And I usually say the movie is different. You know, not the movie is better, the movie is different.
I see
However,
it as like
sometimes
just like a
the book
different
is better.
POV, you know?
Yeah. A very much a point of view thing, definitely. Definitely. And so, you know, just potential. A lot of things could be done. It's just that they tend to do movies as formulas. They tend
That's
to say,
true.
this has been successful, let's find something like it, do it again.
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Yeah, and they say, okay, we got to have this kind of character, we got to have this kind of character interaction, and it starts diverging from the original story.
That's true, so true.
And what makes the original, they need to look what makes the original story interesting. What is it about the characters? What is it about the setting that makes it an intriguing tale, that makes it a tale that you want to see what happens? What is it about the characters that you want to root for? Or you want to see the guy get splattered, you know, in the case of a nasty villain. And why is he a nasty villain? The original story might tell you that, but the movie might cut that out. You know, you got to pay attention to what the core of the tale is that makes it interesting, and don't mess with that. You know, if you want to do a story that's different, just do a story that's different. Don't say it's so and so and then make it different. Just do a whole new story. You know, and for God's sake, get actors who fit. You know, if you want a famous name actor, they don't have to be the main role. You know, in fact, you can be nebulous. You can say so and so.
I'm thinking Street Fighter as you're saying this.
Yeah.
You know, like Guile played by a French Canadian man, Van
Yeah.
Damme.
Right.
M. Bison played by a Latino actor, Raul Julia.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't fit.
Right.
You know, into this
You know, it's
mythology.
like, you know, what is it? Starship Troopers. The guy's a Filipino, but yet they have a blonde actor.
Right.
You know, blonde, blue-eyed European actor. It's like, okay, give me a break. You know, there's all this potential. You were talking about going to Mexico and seeing all the anime. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is the English-speaking world came last. You know, we were just discovering anime when all of Latin America, all of Europe, all of East Asia and Southeast Asia had been watching it for years. You know, people had grown up on these shows, you know, since like the 1970s. The 1970s is when it first entered into Italy and France and then spread to the rest of Southern Europe. Not so much Germany, they came a little bit later too, but the English-speaking world was very much a latecomer. That in some ways is an advantage because we started getting subtitled releases earlier than the rest of the world, because the rest of the world was getting only redubbed releases. You know, so that's made a difference, but they also have much bigger fandoms. So Go Nagai has an office for international licensing in Italy, and they handle worldwide international licensing out of Italy.
Wow.
You know, because Italy is such a significant
Right.
market for this stuff. The latest Lupin III TV series was partially funded by Italian funding. So it's set mostly in Italy and San Marino, which is a country of 3,000 people.
That's right.
That really exists, you know. So, you know, we've come to it last. So we're just discovering. Getting back to the Hollywood thing is, we're getting these comic book movies because they're American properties. And in some cases, they're actually they're actually owned by the studio doing the movies, and so that way the money just circles within the local economy. When you're licensing something from overseas, you're having to send a percentage of your profit to another company.
I see.
So, and the same thing with television. A TV network could show really good anime, have a good fandom, you know, good following, high ratings, be sending a percentage of the money overseas, or they could do a mediocre show that gets much smaller viewership and actually make more money because they control it all.
Yeah,
So
it's all about that bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line is an issue. So in a way, anime and manga are still a niche market in America. Face it, when a new production for something significant opens in Japan, it's not on TV news like the other entertainment stuff is. You know, it's just Hollywood. So that's still a niche market. But it's a growing niche market, it's a powerful niche market, it's hopefully going to be an influential niche market.
Now I've seen it penetrate deeper into the video game world, where it's been widely accepted for a long time.
And that's because of the relationship in the video game world of overseas video games. The Japanese industry has been fairly significant. Tons of video gamers who would like modify their machines or buy players from overseas so they could buy cartridges from overseas. All of that, the whole routine. People actually going to Tokyo and hitting Super Potato to buy those old games that their old console at home will play because they've taken a chip out and put a new chip in, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a dedicated fandom.
Yeah, that's some hardcore fans that really want their video game played
Right.
in a very specific way. Okay, I'm gonna leave off with just one last question.
Okay.
And you can give us a short answer or elaborate if you want. What manga or Japanese anime would you love to see Hollywood do as a AAA title, like with all the bells and whistles, and who would you like directing it?
Oh, man. I would say Del Toro directing. And I would say, this is going to be way off the wall, Wild 7.
I don't know, I'm not familiar with Wild 7.
Wild 7 was a 1970s manga that was very popular from actually, I think, 69 to 79. It was a period of upheaval, rebellion, a lot of corruption being uncovered, links with gangsters. You had the Lockheed scandal where American manufacturers were bribing Japanese officials to get contracts, all of this stuff going on. And it's about a prosecutor who gets so sick of the whole routine after he knows someone has committed a hideous murder and he can't go after the guy, that he sets up a special police unit with the help of superiors that is assigned to go after select groups of criminals, and they never arrest.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
And why Del Toro?
Del Toro, I think, would do it with he would do a good job with the action and things, because a lot of it is the characters. They're really diverse. One is a demolition expert who went criminal. Another one is a guy who killed some people in a fight, and he's very young. Another one is a gang boss who's brought in, not out of prison like the others were, but he's brought in because he's simply explained to him his lifestyle is going to kill him because he looks like he's middle-aged and he's only like 30. Another guy's a baseball pitcher who rigged games. Another guy's a circus performer who killed some people. Just all these like really nasty guys, and they're put together as a motorcycle team in the police. There is a live-action movie that was done in Japan. It came out in 2011. The Japanese Blu-ray has English subtitles, and Japanese Blu-rays play in American
Well, we're
players.
gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, Wild 7, and it's like less than $12.
Really?
It's dirt
Now,
cheap.
did they do it justice, do you think?
They did it very much justice. They did changes. The characters' backgrounds have been changed slightly and so forth. They've got good actors. The look is different for some of them, but you've got the personalities, and the guy who's the official in charge of them is as icy cold as he is in the original manga. At one point he's telling his people, you're just machines. And you're expensive machines. It took a lot to get you, it took a lot to train you, but you could be replaced. I give you a target, you go after it. And he walks out of the room.
Oh my.
And it's heartfelt because you start understanding these characters. You start sympathizing with them. You start understanding, in some cases, why they did these things. One guy says, I killed 4 people, but his boss says, you murdered 3 people. No, he killed 4 in his eyes. And that's part of the story. And it's an action movie. It's a well-done action movie. Horribly expensive. I don't know. Japanese movies are made under dinky budgets.
Right.
It's like you pick your average Hollywood movie. Your average Hollywood movie has the budget of all of the films in Japan in 1 year. you know. And so this film was like a lot of money because they've got like huge scenes in huge shopping malls where they're taking over the entire complex. They've got like lots of things being blown up, damaged. Some of it's, you know, computer effects, but you can only do so much, you know, and sometimes it's cheaper to crash a car into something and blow it up than it is to do it on computers. And so they did a phenomenal job with it. And, you know, admittedly I'm a fan. I got the 6 volumes of the manga that came out in English, and I've got the old OVA on VHS because it never came out on DVD. But I was really pleased with the movie. It's well done.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for talking manga and anime and Hollywood with us today.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
All right.
Remember, folks at home, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you like manga and anime, you're in the right spot.
And watch more of it.
Yeah.